Welcome to the KMT Traders channel. We are looking at Usdjpy for this weekly analysis. So what I'll be doing is just to quickly review what happened last week, just to explain what actually happened in terms of my analysis, and then we'll have a look in the analysis for next week. So I drew out three possible scenarios here in purple in terms of the arrows, and I based it on the 4 hourly. So I predicted for the first arrow that we could find some sort of resistance on this zone here, but obviously we didn't get that because we had the strong close above, so we didn't get that one there. And then the second one was a double top, or a retest on our trend line, and that scenario actually worked. So we managed to get a good trade out of this one, so roughly just under 100 pips, just under that one. And so then this third scenario didn't quite work out because we didn't get a strong close above and then a retest for the push up. So yeah, so in terms of the second scenario, we got the retest on the top, beneath the purple trend line, just because of the higher the time frame it is, it provides more strength in terms of resistance. So that actually worked out quite well. So in terms of for this week, what I'll do is just step it out on a daily just to get the overall picture again. So this purple line that or pinky purple line that I was talking about is basically this wedge that we're currently in terms of USDJPY on a larger scale. So this is the bottom half of the wedge, and then this upwards trend line is obviously been respected a couple of times in June, and especially a lot of last week. So because of this rejection, this bottom line, bottom trend line is being respected in terms of price. So what we can see here is that we're getting some sort of resistance from this line, but also there's a key point here that 107.886 is acting as support again. So we're back down to this level again as we just closed off for the end of this week, and we're beginning to see that the EMAs are slightly converging over again to being a selling condition. So what we could potentially see is price to retest our lower zones or our lower key levels again. So let me just extend this just a little, and what we could potentially see is, due to the convergence of the EMAs that's slightly forming, until we get that, then that would obviously give us the all heads up for the short. But I'll be looking for something to happen along this type of price action sort of route. So we get like that sort of action. So what that is price breaks below and closes below the key level 107.886, and then we get the retest, and then we get our entry position for this short. So that could potentially give us about 70 odd pips. Obviously the stop loss ratios do vary upon the execution of the trade. So having a look exactly on the lower time frame, on the 1 hourly, we can see that we've already had our selling condition through the EMAs, so that's good to see. And then we've had the firm rejection off the 107.886 due to the tap, and then we had the retest of the top zone before we head further down. Now what is highlighting towards myself is that we have found ourselves to form a little bit of divergence already in the upcoming week. So as of previous videos, we've seen this type of pattern before, and normally what happens is we would see that this would clarify and be the turning point. So perhaps this could be the proper turning point. So that is obviously the second scenario that I could presume. So we could find price to come back here, and then we find ourselves back up again. But what we for that type of scenario to happen, it might not happen here for such. What might happen is we find another zone or level for it to retest before we head up. So that could obviously stand true as well if we decide to go for a long. But that is another scenario that could be anticipated in the following or upcoming week. So these two different scenarios are possible. We just have to wait until we get a little bit more information from the market in terms of where price is heading, and we'll have to wait and see if we can get the confirmation and then the push, and then that is our entry point. So that'll be all for our USDJPY video for this week. And in terms of following on with the videos, I'm obviously tweeting now all of positions through the week in terms of setups, the potential outcomes, entry points, and you can obviously see my stop losses and my take profit zones. So if that is something that interests you, just give me a follow on my Twitter handle. It'll be in my description. But yeah, that'll be all for this video. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.